All right, fire away.
Coach, you finally got to see Patrick in a full practice rather than just a little limited. You liking what you see?
You know what? He had some reps and he did a heck of a job, and it was fun to get him back out there. But those guys are doing a hell of a job.
I mean, he was jumping pretty high at the end of the last game. I mean, if he can do leaps and bounds like that, he seems like the knee's doing okay.
Well, I'll say this, okay? And I've said this before. The head man has 51% of the vote. So when the head man says whatever's going to take place, that's what's going to take place. But what he did after the game, Pat's just an excitable kid. That's just who he is.
Eric, I know I want you to take this appropriately, but do you feel like 3 weeks, or let's say the last 2 weeks, do you feel like the last 2 weeks, do you feel that you've gained a competitive advantage, sort of having both quarterbacks be available in practice so that the opponent has to look at tape of both players before sort of declaring a starter going into said game?
You know what? I think it does give us a competitive edge because, first of all, they have no idea who's playing, and we're still waiting to see exactly what's going to take place this week. But what it does do, it builds character amongst our players. Our team is developing together, and I thought throughout that course, I thought those guys did a heck of a job of growing together, working together, developing chemistry together, and that was huge. Now we just need to make sure that we're continuing to continue with the positive flow that we have, but also understanding that, hey, we still got to work. We still got to focus on the little detail things that's going to help us to progress as the season goes along.
We've seen Patrick, or we've heard, I should say, from both Rick and Andy, kind of the idea of what his rehab is and how aggressive he is in attacking it. From your vantage point, is there something that you've seen in the facility, or whether Pat's here longer than most of the guys that sort of explain to you just sort of his desire to get back as soon as possible?
Well, our training staff does a heck of a job. Rick and his staff, they do a great job down there. But one thing you got to understand, Pat is a competitive kid. So Pat's going to come early and stay late regardless, regardless of the task at hand. But I know that he went down there and worked his tail off because nothing is more important to Pat than being out there and playing and competing with his teammates.
Coach, you have 5 tight ends on the roster, and 2 obviously on the practice squad. What's the thought process of having 5 tight ends?
You always want to bring in good players that can fit in, and obviously we want to continue to build our brand and make sure that we're training and developing guys. You can't pass up on good players. Our GM, Brett Veach, he does a heck of a job of looking all around for different players, but that's his job, and whoever they bring in, we're going to love them up and we're going to coach them up.
How much of this is an indictment on Deion Yelder? I mean, since the Detroit game where you had those 2 big catches, he's kind of disappeared, and I know it's kind of hard to rotate tight ends in, but I think he's only played like 1 snap on special teams.
I don't think that's a detriment to him. I just think it's more of a, this is a talented kid that everybody probably had a good grade on when he was coming out of college. He was available, so why not bring him in?
When it comes to your running back room, you have a lot of options I know you guys are comfortable with. Is it fair to say at this point it's sort of a ride the hot hand type of deal? Okay, this guy's working for us, we'll go with him, a committee deal?
You know what? I think those guys have all done a heck of a job all season long. I thought Damian did a hell of a job last week stepping up and playing a hell of a role. Without the yards that he gained and the big run, no telling what happens. But also, too, we understand the importance of working together. I thought our O-line did a heck of a job, the receivers on the perimeter, and then, Tyreek guided them across the line. But it's one of those deals. We want to make sure that we're putting the guys in the right situation to go out there and just execute and be the best that they can be. So who's ever that guy, he's that guy. But like I said, Damian's done a hell of a job so far.
What'd you like more about what he showed you on Sunday? Because obviously he came into the season as kind of your starter, and we didn't see a lot of him for the first 8-9 weeks.
You know what? I thought last week he put consistent behavior on tape. Actually, for the past 2 weeks, he's ran harder. He's ran more physical. He's seen it a little better. We just want to make sure that we continue to put that consistent behavior and type of attitude on tape. Because when it's all said and done, we have to be able to run the ball in order for us to have the success that we want to have.
Coach, you talked a little bit about consistently going out there. While Patrick was gone, everybody kind of stepped up to help Matt more, to kind of, raise their game to help him. Do you anticipate that the excitement of when Patrick does come back will be able to keep that level of everybody stepping up and raising their game?
Well, we always talk about being accountable. We want our guys to be accountable, regardless who's playing quarterback, regardless who's playing tight end, on the O-line, or in any receiver position. We want those guys to step up and rise to the occasion, because when it's all said and done with, it's our job to make sure that those guys are ready, but those guys' job to make sure that they're doing all the little things necessary that's going to help us to be successful. So yes, we want an all-in type attitude.
But is there a danger? Oh, Patrick's back, okay. Phew, Superman's back there, we can kind of...
Not at all, because one thing, Pat's going to do, because Pat has been here, he's going to hold them accountable. He's going to hold them to a higher standard.
Coach, did you see the 91-yard run from Damian Williams coming, and what was your thoughts seeing Tyreek Hill running alongside him? Were you nervous that there was going to be a fumble happening kind of down the line?
First of all, it was a heck of a run. Our O-line did a hell of a job of coming off the ball. I thought 2-6 did a heck of a job of pressing it, reading it out. And then I just thought he did a hell of a job of just accelerating up the field. And then Tyreek comes along. He does, believe it or not, and I know everybody's talking about the way it finished, but I thought he did a hell of a job of shielding that guy off. It could have been a would-be tackler. And to me, that's the unselfishness of this team. That's the chemistry of this team. Once Tyreek figured that out, and, I'm not sure all of us can process that in that short amount of period of time, but once he figured out that he would shield that guy off, now it became a race for him and helping him show that, I know this is a hell of a run here, but I'm still the fastest man on this field. But it was fun. It was good to watch, but also, too, it just goes to show you what type of people we have in this organization.
Eric, when you call that play in that situation, I know you say like every play you call you want to be a touchdown, right? But did you think that was a home run swing? Did you think when you made the call that was a possibility for 91?
I'll say it again. Every play that we dial up, we're saying, hey, we have an opportunity to score. The O-line did a heck of a job. I thought they did a heck of a job of just coming off the ball. They really made that play happen. Damian did a heck of a job of pressing it and reading it out. And once he accelerated, I said, you know what, he has a chance. But you never know which play is designed and which play is going to go. But when it's all said and done with, we're expecting that.
Coach, I know you guys don't know if Matt or Pat are starting on Sunday, but being a quarterback in the NFL, I know it's already a tough job, but does that make Matt's job much tougher if he doesn't know, if he's going to start or not?
I don't think so. These guys, one thing I will say, we all do a great job of over-communicating with one another in that room. Mm-hmm. We prepare our guys each and every week to be the starter. And so we want to make sure that all our guys are ready. Like I said before, we have a heck of a coaching staff that takes a tremendous amount of pride of over-communicating all the details so everybody can be ready to play on game day. And that's our job as a coaching staff, but also, too, that's their job as players. So we expect them to show up and put in all the work so they can be ready to roll when called upon.
You mentioned the O-line. Just when it comes to Andrew Wiley, what kind of luxury is it to have a guy that can play right guard, left guard, and kind of seamlessly, depending on what you guys do?
You know what? You love position flexibility up front, and it's always good when those guys can come in and line up, at the center guard or tackle and just plug them in right away. So that helps out tremendously. And one thing, a testament to Wiley. I mean, this kid has worked his tail off each and every year, and he's found a way to put himself in position to be one of the starting five. And so those are the type of people that you want in your organization. Those are the type of people that you want to line up with every Sunday.